Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the Village of Saxtons River Trustees meeting.
Call the meeting of the Saxtons River Board of Trustees to order. First item on the agenda, are there any adjustments to the agenda? New items to be ratified later?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Any public comment?
I have some information from Peter and Patty Stickney. Patty thought that she might be on the call, but I'll summarize it. So they've been dealing with sewage problems at their house at the foot of Hartley Hill Road. And after working on things last year, they made the decision to dig up the pipe. I think they may have had some visualization done, and the pipe underneath the road was broken. So when I talked to Tristan Brennan this morning, he told me that he had checked in with the highway department and the wastewater treatment plant and gotten an approved plan to have the work done. And I believe the assumption is that since the highway department caused the problem, i.e. the pipe was broken when they worked on the road, probably the town will pick up this expense. Matt, I bet you know more about this than I do. And Carl, I know you've been right on the sidelines, but that's what I got from this morning.
Mm-hmm. That seems to summarize it pretty well.
Okay. Any other public comment? Okay. Moving on, then next on the agenda, we have the treasurer's update. So Inessa, if you...
Yes, hi all. I believe last time we met, we decided which account we can use for fire department feasibility study. So I just need direction. What do I do? Should I cut a check, or what's my next step?
So could you, I'm sorry, Carl.
Yeah, yes, Amy.
Which account are we using, Inessa?
It looks like it will be fire department reserve account, which
Great.
right now has $34,467.
I'm sorry, I missed the figure. 34,000.
467.
Great.
Got a question?
You have a question?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Matt?
So, are we planning to take? So we're on the hook for $10,000, correct?
That's correct.
That's correct. And so, do we want to take it all out of that fund, or do we want to split it 50-50 and use some out of the ARPA fund? Crickets.
Yes, Amy.
We could certainly do that. 5 and 5. It's an infrastructure kind of payment, which I think many municipalities are using ARPA funds for that kind of infrastructure. And we do have to make those decisions about the ARPA funds fairly quickly. We've, to my understanding, we have at best 4 more meetings, 2 in November and 2 in December, to make those decisions before the end of the year. So we could certainly do that. As far as cutting the check, I think the town will let us know when that needs to happen, Inessa. I can write to Scott Pickup and make sure they don't need it right away, but I'll do that before the next meeting if you like. And I don't know, is back to you, Carl.
Okay, Matt, you had a follow-up?
So we don't need to approve this expenditure tonight because we haven't been billed for it yet. We're just talking about where the money could potentially come from. Correct?
As far as I know.
Okay. All right. So we can decide whether it all comes out of that fire station. What's the name of that account, Vanessa?
Money market, fire station, money market, reserve account.
Okay, so we have more than enough there to cover it, so we have this other expenditure that we're talking about for the wastewater treatment plant, so.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I have.
Okay, any
So you
other?
don't want to move on that? You're just suggesting we put this off
Oh,
another?
I just kind of put it out there just as a talking point, just we have funds in 2 locations to use, so. Yeah, I don't know, I don't think we need to ratify it tonight if we're not cutting the check.
Is there a reason, Matt, that you're concerned about taking it all from the reserve?
No. Well, I guess not, just options, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
it's gonna be spent on the fire department one way or the other, so
Mhm.
I'm okay with it. I just didn't want to drain that account if that's the way it was gonna go down.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
is Amy still reaching out to Scott Pickup?
Yeah. I will.
Okay, so will be waiting from Amy's or from Scott's.
Well, I would love to have it resolved now where the money is going to come from. So if Scott says to me, I mean, I know the fire feasibility study is proceeding. I keep getting asked to supply data and I've been sending it in. So it wouldn't surprise me if Scott said to me when I email him, yeah, I'd like that check for 10,000
Okay.
right away.
Okay, so let's
So
do
it'd be
that.
nice to resolve it where it's
Yeah.
coming from.
Yeah. So I think we did resolve it, right, Matt? We
Sure.
just need to get an invoice. So Amy probably will reach out to Scott Pickup with request of sending us an email invoice.
Amy,
Carl?
Yes.
So I will make a motion that we take $10,000. It's actually $20,000, isn't it? 10 plus 10?
no,
No.
5 plus 5.
No,
No.
it's
It's
5 plus 5.
10,000 total. Okay,
10,000.
Correct.
that we take it from the fire department reserve fund.
I'll second that.
Carl, I think I'm more comfortable running the meeting than I thought I would be. Are you okay if I take it over?
You may take it over if you would like, yes.
Thank you. I can't bear keeping my mouth shut. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to take $10,000 from the fire department reserve fund. Now is your time to make a pitch if you would like to do something else. Matt, I can't see you terribly well, so I'm just going to ask you, do you want to?
Well, we don't have an invoice to prove that so I'm not sure why we're doing that without something in front of us. I can't
I'm
imagine.
anticipating one.
Right, but the town manager has not sent us a bill or requested a payment from us, and we meet every 2 weeks, so we're not writing a check, sorry. So.
I just hate to keep bringing it up and dealing with it.
Well,
Carl, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that it might be good to make a decision one way or the other because we're considering other uses for the ARPA money. And if we know we're going to spend 5,000 of it on the fire department study, then we are not going to be wondering if we have it for something else. And the deadline for ARPA is coming closer, even if the study for the town is not.
Kristen, point of view?
It's hard to have a point of view because I don't know like how we're spending yet the ARPA funds. Like that would be helpful to see if we need that 5,000 that we might spend on the feasibility study for something else. If that makes sense. But I don't have a strong opinion. I don't have it either way at this point in time.
Okay. Ellen?
I'd like to see the money. We've given a lot from the ARPA funds to the fire department, which I completely support. I'm thinking that the remaining ARPA money might be best for using for projects that I've been thinking about, like maybe for the Saxtons River Rec area, or maybe if there's some other funds that, or any other needs we could use the remaining balance of the ARPA towards.
So the other funds, I'm looking to all of you to correct me on this. The other funds that the other ARPA uses that we've been approached for are the boiler for Gross, which we've already voted on, and that's been allocated. The software for the rescue squad, the rescue truck reframing, and we don't know that we've received the last bill for that. I'm hopeful that Art can let us know where we are. I suspect that we're almost done, so that we know what we need to allocate for that project to can be complete. And we have a new list from Rob Wheeler of updates and expenses for the wastewater treatment plant, which is typically our big, that and the fire department are our two major assets and the two major places we draw funds. Although you're right to prompt us, Ellen, with the rec department. I know that's something that you've brought up at previous meetings. Are there other ARPA projects that I am failing to mention? Okay.
Well, I think Matt had a list of other
Fire department. Yes.
fire department projects, yes. And I don't know if you can see, but Matt has a question.
Oh, okay. Thank you for prompting me. Go ahead, Matt.
I move to call the vote.
Is everybody comfortable with voting now? No more questions? No more discussion? Okay, I can't see your face, Carl, so just wiggle your fingers if you're okay with that. Perfect, thank you. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to take the $10,000 total for the fire feasibility study from the fire department reserve fund. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's unanimous. Great. Okay, Anessa, you're all set when I provide you with an invoice.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Other updates from our treasurer?
I had a side question. Amy, we talked about some money allocating for the Bellows Falls, what's that name? The organization where the hospital is?
GRAS,
Uh-huh.
GRAS, or I think they say it GRAS or GROS. I'm never sure how to say it. Greater Rockingham Area Services. So they have told us that they don't need a check right now. Now that we have allocated the funds, now that we've made the decision on spending them, they can be issued any time between now and the end of next year.
Okay, so I'll wait for you then.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And Margaret Gallagher knows that we've passed this, and she will let us know when to send her a check.
Okay, sounds great. I don't really have anything else.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vanessa.
I might add, Vanessa's face is prompting me that she asked, she and Dave Moore asked for a list of previous delinquent taxpayers. And I went back and scanned the last 5 years of our annual reports, and made copies for Dave of the pages that list delinquent taxpayers, delinquent tax and sewer payments. We haven't always listed them. It hasn't happened every year, but he has anything that we created in the last 5 years. Are you working with him, Anessa, on?
Yep, we connected. Yep, we connected. I am on myself. I already went through, just briefly, to check on people's payments or not, and connected with him. I guess he's away, so when he'll be back, we will create a new list, if you will, for those who are still outstanding.
I've already forgotten. When are the sewer payments delinquent? Is it the end of November?
End of October.
Okay.
And I might reach out, Amy, grab those books maybe one more time, those big binders.
Yep, sure.
I give it back to you because 2018, 19, those reports go back to, so, but seems like they're all kind of up to date. Just there's a few culprits like year after year. So yeah.
What you would like is the binder for 2018, 2019 tax and sewer payments?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'll reach out to you. Yeah.
So just so everybody knows, the documents like those payments are now either with anything to do with the treasurer is either with Anessa or in my house. If we had a stainless steel fireproof vault, they'd be in the vault, but I don't see any point in putting them upstairs in the community building, which is technically where things are stored. So they were with treasurers or with Louise Loring, and I've just transferred them to my house. So that's where they are.
Thank you.
If my house burns down, which I know will never happen in Saxtons River with our fire department, that's where the documents are. Okay, we are on to a contract review for the sheriff and the Vermont League of Cities and Towns for 2024. Carl, do you want to talk about the League of Cities and Towns?
I hadn't planned to, no.
Oh, you sent me the
Yeah, but we got an email saying that the membership dues would be increasing in 2024, and that would be reflected on the invoice we get. No payment is due yet. I don't recall what the exact amount is, but that's something we'll want to take into account when we're budgeting for next year.
Yeah, so just a reminder, I think all of you know this, but perhaps our viewership isn't aware of these things. League of Cities and Towns provides very reasonable workers' comp and insurance coverage for our property. All of our volunteer fire department and volunteer rescue squad are covered for injuries on the job, and we go in and update that information on a regular basis. So we don't yet have the bill, although they did send us a list of the dues. We are small enough so that we get a village. Here it is. It's $1.36 per capita. Associate members will be $11.30, and that is actually our membership fee, not our insurance, property and workers' comp fee. So it's just a notice that it's coming and we're ready for it. I also have a letter from the Windham County Sheriff's Office The rates for policing will be approximately $54 per hour for contracts of at least $2,000, 2,000 hours. That's not us. $64 per hour for anything less than $2,000 per year. So that's us. We are paying about $800 a month. That's correct, isn't it, Ellen?
Yeah.
And I think what they do is take the total hours and then divide it by 12 and bill us monthly. So I'm anticipating that that will go up as well. But I don't have last year's hourly rate to compare it to.
I think it was, it worked out to
700.
$750 a month, maybe.
Oh, so it went up about $50 this year.
Yeah, let me just, yeah.
Does anybody want to discuss changing the contract?
Oh,
Billing for more hours, fewer hours?
well,
Looking
No.
for anybody?
Amy, what's the time period? When are they gonna change? January or next July?
Good question.
Because they just changed in July.
I believe it's July 1st.
Okay.
So the Windham County Sheriff is well aware that we are putting together budget
Mhm.
for town meeting in March. So
Okay.
they send us this information ahead of time so that we can calculate a budget amount accurately.
Makes sense. Mhm.
Yeah, and I just want to add that it was 725 last year. And now it's 800. And then, let me just take a quick look here. It remained at 725 through April of this year.
Yeah, I think the first change was like July,
Yeah, July 1st,
June,
new
July.
contract. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention, we have been invited, and I will forward the information to you. There is a face-to-face meeting at the Windham County Sheriff's Office, November 15th, from 10 to 11, outlining the current state of rural policing and sharing a draft proposal for discussion and consideration. So the issues here are, should the sheriff's office move to a more regionalized service? Is anybody interested in attending that November 15th meeting?
I nominate Amy.
I'm reluctant to attend.
Actually,
Someone should attend.
I will attend.
That would be great, Carl. I will send you the information.
Is that a like Tuesday or Wednesday?
That's a Tuesday.
It's a Wednesday.
A Wednesday?
Someone can go.
No.
If it's a Tuesday, I would have difficulty doing it.
Yeah, no, it's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wednesday, I can do it.
They include lunch, Carl, so that'll be a special treat, I'm sure.
Oh, no.
That's great. Very quick turnaround. I guess, yeah, our meeting will be the following Monday. So if you have information you want to share, that's a perfect time to share it.
Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Okay. Any other comments on the contracts we've brought for your review? Okay, we're on to Christine Williams. So Christine Williams represents a family who have traditionally given money for a nonprofit purpose in the village of Saxtons River every year. Last year, it went to the food pantry, the little free food pantry across from the village market. And she wrote asking, were there any nonprofits that we would like to recommend to receive the family's gift? And I promised to bring it up at the board meeting.
Saxtons River Rec.
Anything specific?
For everything.
Okay,
Is that the same conversation from Facebook?
Oh, I don't know.
There was
Which
a
one?
couple of weeks ago. Somebody said, "Hey, somebody wants to give a gift. What would you recommend?"
could
Oh, I
be.
don't know that.
I heard the responses were a soccer team, right, for the rec.
So it sounds like, unless that was Ellen on both occasions, it
They
sounds
could have
like
been, I
there's
just forgot.
some public sentiment. Any other suggestions? Kristen, Matt, Carl?
What are the other possibilities?
Whatever you
What,
think of.
what, what nonprofit organizations or causes do we have that are local to the village?
Well, we have daycare, right, at the community center. We have community center itself. We have Main Street Arts, Historic Society.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, Historical Society is a good one too.
I would say
The
the
rec.
rec.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Matt, did you make a remark?
One place, Amy?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you say, Kristen?
If they were just looking for one place and someone said yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, so would you like me to mention all of these nonprofits, or is there a general consensus that, I don't know, we prefer the rec?
Well, you
I-
could put the rec area as our number one choice and then list the others just in case they're not happy with that.
Okay, that works for me.
Is
Everybody
the rec,
like that?
is the rec an organization? It's not.
I know that they take donations. I
Mhm.
don't know if they are, I suspect they are not officially a nonprofit. They're a
Right.
municipally owned entity.
Right.
Yeah, but the Little Free Pantry isn't an official nonprofit. It's, you know, something put together. And I believe the money came as a check to a member of the village who, you know, used it to buy food and keep the food pantry stocked. So I don't think there's, and I'm correct, am I not, that donations are made to the Saxons River Rec?
Correct. Yeah, and they go to their checking account.
Okay, yeah. All right, if hearing no disagreement, then I will, go ahead, Carl.
I'd like to put in a plug for daycare, which I think is a serious need for people in the community.
Certainly.
So I think that would merit mention along with the rec.
Mhm.
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
Absolutely.
all right. So I will suggest to Christine that the money go either to the Saxons River Rec or to the, I'll look up the official name of the daycare. I don't know it off the top of my head.
The
And I
village-
will mention the other nonprofits in the community as well. I guess the Montessori school is another,
Yeah.
is that a nonprofit?
I don't believe that's a nonprofit.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is. Do we know the size of the gift?
No. I think it varies.
Okay. It's just not unrestricted, whatever.
Well, they restrict it and then they choose an organization.
Okay.
So I think what I'll do is give a brief description of the rec, you know, the kinds of services it offers, you know, what happens, the fishing derby, the swimming during the summer, the league
Soccer.
games at the fall, soccer especially. Yeah. And I'll also go into how many children are served from the daycare.
I think it,
Okay.
Amy, it used to be called Village Early Learning Center.
Okay. I know somebody who works there, so I was thinking I would just call her and ask. Village Early Learning Center. Village, it's probably on a sign, right?
Yep.
Thanks, Kristen. Okay, we are up to committee updates. So I apologize if I'm just not up to speed because I did read the minutes, but I'm looking forward to Kristen talking about the Municipal Energy Resilience Program, MERP, the first thing on our list of updates.
Well, there's not a lot to report, but everything is in. Our application is submitted, everything is uploaded. And Margot said it's just a waiting game now. She did say that the very first towns in the community, that like the first reviews or whatever it's called are not until December. The area towns that submitted super early. So she said we shouldn't be holding our breath. It might be in the new year before we hear.
Okay,
But we're submitted.
great. That's exactly what I hope to hear. Okay, any questions for Kristen?
Nope.
Fire station, Matt, update?
None.
Anything happening in the fire committee we should know about?
No, we haven't met for quite some time.
Oh,
Haven't been notified of the next meeting.
do you want to add your conversation with Art, Ellen? We can't hear you. I think you're still muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, hold on a sec.
The title.
Right. So I got a text tonight from Art asking if I've seen the title yet, and I have not. I did drop off the plates a couple weeks ago, and then now we have the registration, but I do not have the title. Art says he thinks the state has to send the title, but they aren't always very quick at the process. And he wasn't sure about if we want it filed upstairs with the village documents or in the truck folder in the fire department file cabinet, where to keep that information.
I think I have the old rescue title in the files in the metal filing case that Louise gave me. So with your permission, I would ask that the title be added to those files.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so I'll let him know.
Okay, wastewater treatment plant. Rob, it's so good to have you here.
Yep.
So do you want to walk us through your recommendations for purchases for the wastewater treatment plant?
Well, I mean, the first one, I guess, is the one I sent out for LCS controls for the upgrading of the computers in the Win 911 system. I talked about that. Not everybody. I hope everybody got that. I apologize for not getting.
I haven't seen
I haven't seen it. When did you send it?
Today. I might not have gotten your email address, so you might not have gotten it.
So, Kristen, I forwarded the email. I realized you were inadvertently left off, I'm sure, the email. So I forwarded it to your Kristen SRV account.
Wait,
Today?
It just came today in the middle of the day.
all right, I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I got a response from you that it was
did?
urgent. Yeah. I always get a response from you.
That's you got my autoresponder.
Yeah, I know.
So let me check my spam folder. Hold on.
But anyways,
$2,700.
I talked about it a little bit last time.
Yep.
The computer system, it's just time. Expected useful life is basically at its end. And the Win 911 system, which calls out our alarms, is that version is no longer being maintained by the company. So it's time to upgrade it. And we're doing the same thing at Bellows Falls. We just did our computer last year. So ours as you'll see in that email, isn't as much, but we have already done our computer part of it, so we're just doing the wind part of it. This one is both modems and the wind cost. But like I said, I don't know what you have for ARPA funding, so. But I think this one's a kind of crucial to have. It's working now, the wind is, but you never know when it's going to stop. Go ahead.
So what's your estimate of the overall cost of this? I saw 5,000 something for the Bellows Falls wind.
9,700 is what they've put down for an estimate here.
I see it now, Rob.
Copy that.
So
Yeah, the Saxons River portion is 9,700 is what they're estimating.
and do you have any idea how many years this is good for? The upgrade?
Well, the thing is I think talking to Brian, who put this proposal together, on the Win 911 system, you can do buy the program, or you can pay a yearly stipend to have it maintained. And I think moving forward, the yearly stipend is better, because then the system, they upgrade the systems as it goes along. They get their money one way or the other. I mean, they get it either lump sum or they get it over the years. So, but this way we're not, like right now, we're kind of, the system's not being serviced by them until we update it. So, just one of those things that I think moving forward, I talked to our water department, and they have the same Win 911 system, and they do a yearly service charge for it. I think he said, and I had $300 to $500 what it rings a bell in my head a year cost for it to have it, but I don't know if it was the same, because there's I don't know if there's different versions of it for their water department versus the wastewater department. So that would be a yearly cost moving forward after we've got this. As far as the computers, I mean, it's everybody's, 5 years probably for the computer system. It's basically running all the time, running the plant. So one of those things.
So after this upgrade, we should look into doing a yearly contract with them so that it keeps getting.
Yeah, I would say a yearly contract with the wind system. And I talked to Brian Ford about that, and he's gonna get us a price on it's not in this one, but he's gonna give me a price on what it costs for per year to have it updated or moving forward with it.
All right.
Okay,
And I
Kristen,
don't.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
No, she had a question. So
my question is, going forward, do we have, or should we have, for the 5-year computer system, like a reserve build up? So in 5 years, we have it there to replace it? Do we already do that?
we certainly can. I mean, there is a reserve for the wastewater plant at its is now, but
Okay,
whether
all right.
you want to take money out of that, or we just start putting money aside each year in the budget for the computer system. You know what I mean? That's totally up to, some people want to pay as they go, and some people want to pay, a little bit each year. So
He estimated on the computer upgrade.
What's that?
Estimated cost on the computer upgrade.
Yeah, I don't know that he put it all together in a lump sum of 9,700 for both.
But that's the computer and the upgrade to Win?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, and then I don't know what the time frame is, because I don't know what, how long components are to get. So I told him to go ahead, was it 2 weeks ago, to go ahead with ours, and I haven't heard anything on ours yet for the wind part of it. So, that's just, to me, just getting the licensing, I guess, for the wind, and then having it installed. So But yours would be getting the new PC, the new modem. I don't know what the time frame and availability is for those, so that I don't know.
Is this
Yeah.
stuff unique to wastewater treatment plants, or is it a standard modem, standard PC?
I would think it's standard, but I'm not a computer guy, so I couldn't say one way or the other. I'm not going to commit to say yeah, it's one.
Sure. I
You get
thought
off.
you might know.
No,
Okay.
no.
And tell me Brian's last name again.
Ford, Ford.
And he is the guy that you're used to going to for this kind of advice?
Yeah, he's the one that gave us the 2 quotes for Saxtons River and Bellows Falls. He's the one that's been servicing Saxtons River right along. They're the ones that put that system in initially back at the beginning.
Go ahead, Matt.
So as far as where the money's coming from, so we have a capital reserve for the wastewater treatment plant currently, I would assume.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We know how much is in there.
We have.
Oh.
Should I go?
Yes, go.
So we have wastewater treatment fund money market, which has 243,251. That is the amount sometime the 13th of September. I reconcile statements. You can add $200 to it. And then we have another little money market for sewer with 10,388. And then we have wastewater treatment plant upgrade with 25,000. And then we have a general sewer fund where all the sewer fees go into, like a checking account, which has 249,500.
So
again,
we have,
as of
so we
September.
have more than enough money, wastewater treatment plant funds to take care of this.
Keep in mind that one of these accounts get drawn twice semi-annually for the loan payment for USDA.
Which account is that?
I think it's the smallest right now, 27,000, because I have to bring money from the money market to it before the draw.
We budget $20,000 for the capital reserve. I think it is in every year.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't that where we take the money from?
yeah, if weren't ARPA to consider, that's where we would take it from, and I would suggest that's the appropriate place to take it.
Yeah.
For the now I do have a question about the wastewater treatment plant upgrade.
Account.
Yeah. Which is whether that includes money that should have been taken out of the grant at the end of the project. So we had a list of items that we could expend that money on, approved by USDA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if we still have money left because we didn't spend it.
Yeah. It'd be a great spot to spend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, that account had left with $500 and it was merged with one of the accounts I mentioned.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite follow.
Only $500.
Only $500. Okay.
It was merged with one of these other accounts.
Okay.
Maxed
Okay.
out probably when we go to the garage.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have checking account with 250,000, and we have sort of savings account, if you will, money market with 243,000. And then we have the one that USDA taken out, 25,000, and another like a smaller with $10,000.
So if we were to take it out of those accounts, which one is the best way to go?
So to allocate in the budget, we will be taking out from checking account and putting it in a savings account, which is money market, those two big balances.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, what's your question, Matt, to allocate for the maintenance?
Yeah. If we allocate this $9,700 tonight, where's
I would recommend to allocate from checking account, sewer fund checking account, general, into money market.
put it into the money market and then pay it out?
Allocate there and pay it out. When we're paying out from checking account by bringing it back. Or are we paying out now? Are we already paying it out? Or decision is not made yet, right?
Well, I'm ready to make a decision.
Okay. From checking.
I'm just wondering where the money would come from, that's all.
Yeah, from sewer checking account, I would recommend that.
I'm a little confused.
I'm confused too. But maybe I'm not understanding correctly, but paying for this from a reserve, not from our operating accounts.
Right.
So then we need to move from money market, from the reserve to the checking account, and then make a payment.
So Inessa, I think we're not quarreling over the idea that checks get written from a checking account. What we're in the dark about, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm certainly in the dark. Let me just start there about what the appropriate account is to pay this $9,700, which is ongoing expenditure, but the kind of thing that I might expect to come from a capital reserve fund. It's not a routine expenditure, it's a regular expenditure. Rob, it looks like you have something to say, and you're muted.
Oh, I just came back. I had a phone call.
Oh.
No, I'm wherever you guys want to take the money from. I know it was something that you talked about using ARPA funds for, so I didn't know if you want to do part of that with that. So
if we have adequate expenditure, if we have adequate funds to cover, our anticipated expenditures, the problem, of course, is the wastewater treatment funds are always, the wastewater treatment items are always big, unpleasant surprises,
Yeah.
Stuff costs a lot, so.
Sure does.
So I would recommend to move money from sewer fund money market to sewer fund checking account, general fund.
So I guess my question for Rob, I'm sorry, Matt, you have your hand up, go. And then we'll do Carl.
I'd like to make a motion to allocate $9,700 for the computer upgrade, using monies from the wastewater treatment money market to pay for it.
Is that just the computer upgrade, or is it the computer upgrade and the WIN?
Computer
it's 9,700. It seems to me it's the two items.
Correct.
Yes.
Is there a second to that motion?
Well, Carl, did you have a question or?
I'll second the motion, and then we can discuss my question.
Great.
Which is that I get confused when we start talking about bank accounts. And I would prefer to say that we're allocating this from the capital reserve, the wastewater treatment plant capital reserve. And I don't care what bank account that is.
Oh, yeah, I don't either.
That's,
Well, is the capital reserve the money market?
well, I'm not sure.
And that's,
Yeah,
The
we're,
problem is that the names are different on a bank account. But yes, Matt, that is the same. Capital reserve is a money market.
yeah,
capital,
I'm with Carl though. If you wouldn't
Okay.
mind a suggestion, making this motion talk about the capital reserve, which seems like the obvious place to pay for a capital expenditure.
Yeah. So it's not clear to me because we have all these different budget categories and we don't have that many accounts. Or we would go crazy with bank accounts. So I just, want to make sure that if we, and I don't care what magic the treasurer uses to keep track of which, but that the money that we're taking for this is out of what we consider to be our capital reserve.
Yep.
And that we're not spending it from an account where something else needs to be.
Yep.
And I'm not sure that that money market is identical to the capital reserve. It may be, it may not be.
Fine.
But
It is.
may have other kinds of
it is.
funds.
Please let her. So, Anessa?
It is the same. It is an identical.
Okay,
Okay.
It is capital sewer fund capital reserve.
okay.
Which is in a money market. All right? Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So,
So
there you
are
go.
you two okay with calling this the capital reserve?
Yes.
The reason I ask that is that when we deal with this at town meeting, we talk about the capital reserve. We don't talk about a money market account or a checking account, or we talk about the capital reserve and allocations to the capital reserve or expenditures from the capital reserve.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the other thing for you to keep an eye on, Inessa,
Yeah.
that when I start bugging you in January and February for a statement of where we are with our accounts, that
Right.
you have a way to create that. And I know you've been very focused on doing exactly that. So I'm not worried, but
Right. It's a good suggestion.
okay. Questions, more questions. Carl, you had your hand up, but you asked your question?
It's been covered.
Okay. Are you taking minutes, Carl?
I've been taking notes, not knowing if you were also taking minutes. So
I'm taking a few. I'm definitely
Okay.
getting who's making the motion and who's seconding it.
Okay.
Matt, you've had some questions. Are you okay?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, Ellen?
No, I'm all set.
Okay, Kristen?
I'm all set.
Okay, you can tell I feel nervous, not with all of us not on Zoom and not in the room. That's why I'm doing all this seconding. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to take $9,700 for a wastewater treatment plant computer upgrade and win from the wastewater treatment capital reserve. It's been moved and seconded, and I think we're ready for a vote. All in favor signify with a hand or a voice. Aye.
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 Okay. Was that unanimous in the room?
It was.
Yes.
Okay, unanimous. Okay, Rob, what else do we need?
Well, we can always,
No, I'm sorry. What else do we need from you? Go ahead. You've got another thing on your list?
I had him on a wish list, so I think he was.
yeah, no, that's fine. I will pass that along to Brian Ford to move forward with this proposal to get that stuff working and going.
Okay.
So the other one is, like I said, it was asked to bring up a list. We still have now that we've had the air system ventilating the headworks of the influent building, the mold has pretty much stayed the same. It hasn't got any worse, hasn't got any better. It's still in the ceiling. So maybe having that removed from the ceiling would be a priority. Not, like I said, it hasn't got any worse, hasn't got any better, but and now that we have the ventilation system on set timers throughout the day or every hour. It seems to have keeping the moisture down for the last couple of years that we've done it. So I think it may be time to move forward with that, getting rid of that mold that's on the ceiling
Okay,
with some of the funding. But like I said, that's if you wanted to use the ARPA funding, or we can use it, take it out of the plant.
I've got a question.
okay, go ahead, Matt.
Do we have a estimated price for that?
I don't have, I thought we had one way back when, but I mean, now everything's with the price of everything going up, I'd have to get another one.
I think you're
I
right.
want to say back in the day, it was like $5,000 is what I put down on my estimate, but, and it was done, I think that was done by ServPro, if I remember correctly.
What was the
Like,
number?
$5,000 is what I think it was for them to come in and do that work, but that was a few years ago, and you know what happened a few years ago with the cost of everything, and now it's probably a lot more than that. So I can certainly reach out to them and see what it would cost to do that again, if you want to move forward with that.
Well, it would be, we would need that cost before we could approve it to take it out of any account.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that would be great. Is everybody okay with that? Asking Rob to get an estimate from ServPro?
Yes.
Okay. It's always nice to have a second estimate, Rob. I don't remember what we did when we dealt with this issue before, but
I think it was the engineers did it, and they just went to them because they're kind of the go-to people. But
okay.
I mean, I don't know if anybody else that is in that, but I can check around.
Okay, great.
The other one was we had issues. We noticed with the motor / problems with the fine screen this year, that the panel that we have, you can't shut off the different components. So the fine screen motor and the grit screen motor, you shut the panel off, it shuts them both down. You can't one or the other. And LCS, Tom Allen from LCS had given us a cost of around $1,000 to put on some switches on the panel to separate that. So didn't know if you wanted to move what you want to do with that, but that's kind of nice that you can actually turn one off and not both off when you shut the panel off. Why it was not set up like that to begin with, I don't know. But, and that was, I can get it. I don't have a written estimate of that. That was just what he had told one of the operators. It'd be around $1,000 to do it. So I can get Brian to talk to Tom to get
a written estimate.
Yep. No, that's fine. I just wanted to see what you guys want to do before I do stuff.
Okay, so 2 written estimates.
Yep.
That'd be
Okay.
great.
All right. And
Any other questions for Rob on this, either of these issues, the ServPro estimate or the switches for the 2 screens, the components?
Nope.
No,
Okay,
all right. I think that's enough for tonight then.
okay, thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
We'll be meeting in a couple weeks, but we've got December too, if you can't get the estimates before then.
No, I will. I will try to get those estimates on that. And I'm hoping that I have everybody's email correctly for the ones that I sent out today. But
I did get yours.
huh?
I got yours.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Right.
Just for future reference, they're all on the Rockingham VT Saxtons River page.
Right.
If you go to the town webpage, our emails are there, but I think you've got them all now. Okay, and I have nothing new on 37 Main Street. So we are up to the minutes. Do I have this right? October 16th, is that our last meeting?
oh, yeah,
I move to approve the minutes of the October 16th meeting.
I'll second
second.
that motion.
I'm gonna head out. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, any questions or comments on the minutes of October 16th?
Nope.
Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes of October 16th? Aye,
Aye.
Bye.
unanimous. Okay. And the warrant. So I'll make you the co-host, Ellen. Hold
Okay.
on. You are the co-host.
Yay.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it working?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was thinking. Okay. You guys, everybody, I can zoom in.
Oh, yeah. Zoom in there. Slide that thing over here. Take a look.
Is that better?
Great.
So I've just emailed Andrew Dunbar. I'm going to say this, even though it's not reflected on the warrant. We're trying to get the final bill from Andrew for what we owe him for the summer mowing. I need it for League of Cities and Towns paperwork, and we need to get it paid. 6/195.
28.
28. Anything you want to draw our attention to, Ellen?
No, everything looks pretty straightforward. Yeah. I haven't heard any objections, because I CC everyone who's involved, when I'm submitting them to INESA for approval. So there's been Art's seen them, Rob's seen them. There isn't anything that stands out that is unusual.
Okay. Should I know what Brown Enterprises are? Wastewater treatment plant?
Yeah, and
Rental place.
What is it?
It's a rental place over in South Londonderry. They had to, their pump, portable pump to transfer liquids down there, wouldn't start, so they had to go rent one.
Okay.
yeah, it was a 1 week rental for a 2-inch trash pump.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the warrant of $6,195.28.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Are there any further questions? Okay, we have a motion on the table to approve the warrant of $6,195.28. All in favor? Aye.
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 Sounded unanimous to me.
Yep.
Okay, and thank you, Ellen. We are up to the discussion of meetings, number of meetings per month, place held, remote versus in person. So tell me about the fire station. It looks to me like the Wi-Fi is fabulous.
That's why
Yep.
we're here.
Okay. Any other comments? Everybody is okay with meeting in person?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And meeting in person at fire department, check. Matt, I'm going to put you on the spot again. I should have thought to ask Nick Cushing and Art Smith. We're not interfering with training opportunities when we meet 2 Mondays a month or
No,
meetings
that's all
or,
Yeah,
okay.
not see.
Richard?
When do you usually have Wednesdays? They're here. Yeah. So we're good on Mondays.
Okay, great. I am loving that we still do remote, but I'm also happy everybody likes the in-person.
Mhm.
Okay, great. And
You
was there
had
anything
down,
else?
You had down to discuss 2 meetings a month.
Yeah, so I've been the worst attendee, I think. Shouldn't be a contest, but I have to, I haven't made the second meetings of the month that we went to in the fall. But they looked very short to me. And then Carl said, well, yeah, that's because we're up against that time limit on Zoom. So I apologize. I've been wondering whether we should go back to one meeting a month and schedule a special meeting if it looks like we're up on budgets or we have a difficult issue like the solar project. And I thought I'd just float that idea and see what you thought. The Zoom issue is that we have to go to a higher license. And Carl told me he'd done the research on that, and it's $15 a month. And we can pay per month for somebody else to hold the Zoom meeting. So this is because I have the unfortunate travel habit. And if I'm in a different time zone, I'm not going to fight with Zooming in. But for $15 a month, I think our budget can easily absorb that. And it means that Carl, as the vice chair, can hold the meeting and share documents and do everything he needs to. So the 40-minute Zoom is an artificial construct that we can stop worrying about. Carl, go ahead.
That's $15 a month if you do it per month. If you do it for 12 months, it's less than that.
Okay.
So,
So per year.
yeah.
So what about the issue of do we need to have that second meeting?
Right. So my only issue with one, I'm fine with one, but I don't want the one to be 3 hours long.
Yeah.
If there are 2 meetings and one of them is a half hour long, that's kind of nice.
Yes, I agree.
Cramming too much into one meeting just takes it out of these volunteers.
I would be happy to be one meeting a month, provided that we kept the agenda to a reasonable number of items. And if it looks like there's more things that want to be put on, then we'd have to have a special meeting and defer some of the items to that.
Well,
Okay.
we can always table meetings until the next meeting. I mean, if it just gets too long, you just table them and wrap it up. But that's my only concern is
it's hard to do that,
Oh, I can do it.
No, but I think so. I'm always surprised by these really long meetings, but I mean, like that discussion with Green Lantern, there's no way I wanted to shortchange that discussion. I mean, that was really important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it's just whatever else gets put on the agenda. And I don't know if there's, items come to you, and are you bound by any law to put them on the agenda? Or is it some of it can be at your discretion, and some that aren't quite as important could wait until the next meeting?
So this did not happen this month, and I apologize. I like to think that the agenda comes from all of you as well, but it's true. People call me and say, Amy, we need to discuss this month. So, and I gotta say, I usually don't know. And I worry a little bit that if I don't put it on the agenda, I'll lose track of it. So Christine Williams is a perfect example. She asked me a month ago, and I thought I'd put it on an agenda. I hadn't. So she asked me again, did you discuss this? And all I could say was, I'm sorry, we did not. I promise you we'll discuss it on the next meeting. And that was 2 days ago. So at least now I can get back to her with a defined answer. We do have one big discussion topic coming up, and maybe we want to have a meeting that really focuses on that. And that would be exactly what we're going to spend our ARPA funds on. I mean, I think we're getting closer to that with all of these discussions. Maybe we want to do that for the second meeting in November and try for one meeting in December. I mean, that's 1 month. Of course, I don't know. Does that mean our next meeting is right on top of Thanksgiving? Let's see.
Well, I'll be out of town the Tuesday.
So our next meeting would be the 20th, which is 3 days before Thanksgiving. Are people gone the 20th? That's Monday.
That's Monday?
No, it's the Monday after next Monday. It's the 20th. Next
Right.
Monday is the 13th.
Well, I'm around. I think it's Tuesday we go.
Okay. Kristen, I didn't understand what you said.
But I would be here.
Okay.
I will.
I never go anywhere.
Okay. So how about that? The 20th, we'll really try and do ARPA. And I'll try and put anything else off till December.
Okay.
Okay.
Carl, when do you want to get going on the budget meetings? January, okay for that? January, February?
Yeah. I want to start that in January, but not before then.
Okay. So should we plan just one meeting for December? Tentatively?
Sounds good.
I think that's a good idea.
I agree.
So that meeting would be December 4th. Okay. All right. So the answers to these questions then are discuss 2 meetings a month, and we'll have 2 in November, 1 in December, and we'll see about January. I suspect with the budget process, I don't know. It seems to me that was more complicated last year. So we may have to have a couple of months with 2 meetings. Place held, we're going to stick with the fire station. Everybody's okay with that?
Yes.
And remote versus in person, we'll just keep offering both. Ellen, if you want to come down to the fire station and have the fun of being all together, I think you should do that. Don't worry about, I mean, you can share from the fire station, right? Where
Yeah,
you have good Wi-Fi, so, and everybody has access to that warrant that you put together.
Yeah, I can do it. Because that's why I was staying remote, was having access to the warrant, but I can just bring my iPad down or something.
Okay. And maybe I'll try and print it off. It's typically done by the day of the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
So Amy, I have a question. From
Go
the
ahead, Carl.
from the clerk's point of view, are we deciding to change our meetings from 2 to 1 a month? Or, because we post this on the website.
It's true.
So I'm going to have to change the wording somehow back from we now meet twice a month to we meet whenever we feel like it, or we meet once or twice a month, the first and possibly the second, or
I guess my recommendation, thinking about what's ahead of us, is that we leave it at twice a month, but make an effort, like in December, at the first meeting in December, I think we should make a decision about whether we need a second meeting. But my guess is in January, we're going to need 2.
okay.
And we may need
That's
2 in
fine.
December if we, aren't able to. I mean, that's when we're up against that ARPA deadline, and that concerns me.
Okay.
So are people okay with that idea? Leave it officially at 2, but try for 1?
So then, a second question: what is the proper procedure for not holding a meeting that we've advertised?
Announce it, put it on the website.
So.
So do I
after
send,
the-
so when I send out the agenda, instead of sending out an agenda, I'll say there will be no second meeting? Post it, or just
Well, I would think in
ignore it?
our December meeting,
Mhm.
we would say this is the only meeting we're having.
Yep.
And then you would post. There's no second meeting.
Tell you
Okay.
what, I'm gonna ask the Secretary of State's office.
Okay.
And the question is whether or not I have to do an official posting, like,
Well, I would think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
that's-
if
that's
it's
what I
listed
thought.
as a meeting, then it's.
okay.
it's a meeting.
So my question to them is going to be, do we need to post something if we decide to skip a meeting? If we decide not to hold a meeting? Okay. Other business? Go ahead, Matt.
Regarding our next tri-board meeting, as you know, I requested that sidewalks and road paving be put on the agenda for the tri-board meeting.
Mhm.
So I just want to give the trustees a heads up that I'm going to be discussing the lack of upgrades to the sidewalks in Saxtons River. And the differences between the upgrades to sidewalks in Bellows Falls, sidewalks and roads in Bellows Falls versus Saxtons River. So I'm going to be discussing that.
Okay.
And I'd like to make a follow-up comment. When you talked to Scott about the difference between the chip sealing and grinding down and repaving, and the answer you got was, well, that's what we were advised.
Right.
I'm not satisfied with that answer. We need to know that
That's why I'm bringing it
we
up.
need to know the criteria. So I support what Matt is
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, I'm not happy about the lack of taking care of Saxtons River after seeing and I know the explanation from Scott was an outside source comes in and assesses the roads in the town of Rockingham and suggests, I guess, what appropriate measures are taken.
That
But-
is exactly what he said. Yes.
Right. But, and you'll hear this at that meeting, the sidewalks out here are atrocious, just absolutely not safe for most humans to be walking on. And after seeing what they've done in Bellows Falls with milling, base coat, finish coat, concrete sidewalks that are nice and smooth, it's just there's two sets of rules here that I feel they're and Pleasant Street is a prime example of it. They did a shim coat and chip sealing. The road's already cracked. Where they brought the manholes up, there's concave squares. I mean, it's just hideous. We're getting Band-Aids out here at best versus the proper thing to do is what they're doing in Bellows Falls. And it's just, for me, it's gone on too long. And
Okay.
we need to start pushing. You walk around the sidewalks in Saxons River and Pleasant Street, pick a street, and they're just horrible. And nothing is being done to upgrade them properly. So you'll hear this again.
Okay. I do have a folder with the comments when you and Andy, I think.
Yep.
And Scott
Yep.
did your survey of
Oh, yeah.
sidewalks. So I've hung on to that. I thought that we were scheduled to get sidewalk work done here this summer, and I don't know what happened to that. Have you
Well-
Yeah.
followed up with Andy?
No, I haven't. I thought did you say something about Scott said something about the weather? And
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was going to be put off for a while.
it's not happening this year. So are they
Yeah.
going to do twice as much next year?
Yeah, I don't know.
Any
Yeah,
of
it's a
it.
good question.
It's just it's atrocious. It really
Yep.
is. And I just feel like there's two sets of rules, and
Mhm.
it's not okay anymore. They got to start doing the right thing out here. The two areas that have been upgraded to proper standards, which is a raised sidewalk, 5 feet wide, is up School Street when the renovations happened and they turned School Street into a one-way street. That street was milled and done properly with a raised sidewalk. And the other was in front of the park. And that's it. That's, they did a little bit on Main Street and up Pleasant Street, but they dug it up and dumped it with wheelbarrows, and it's just, I just see two standards, and I think enough is enough, and the residents of Saxtons River really need to start complaining, because it's blatantly obvious.
And do
I
we
don't
have a
think that
date
we-
for that tri-board meeting?
I haven't heard of any.
It's typically when there's a fifth, it's Tuesdays, isn't it?
Yeah,
5th Tuesday in the month. That's why you don't have.
So it's not November.
yeah.
And well, no, it's not
January.
December, so maybe it's January.
I think there's 5 Tuesdays in January.
There are 5 Tuesdays in January, so my guess is it'll be January 30th.
Well,
Yeah. And I expect they're working on the budget now for what's going to be spent next year.
we heard that last year, and there was
Yeah.
supposedly the number that was released at our annual meeting by Peter Golick was there was $75,000 for sidewalks going up Westminster Street.
Yeah,
That didn't
Peter would be a great source for this question too.
Everyone's going to get the question, because it's just,
Yeah.
so they didn't do it this year. Are they going to do it next year? Or are they going to spend it someplace else? And you got to start doing these the right way so that they last.
They were supposed to do the sidewalk up to the wreck, but that never happened.
Yeah, that didn't happen. That one's below grade level. You walk around these sidewalks and it's terrible. So I just want to give you a heads up.
Okay, I'm sorry it has to wait until January 30th. That's too bad. But it looks to me like that's the next one. I'll try and I'll ask about that too. Next tri-board meeting. Not till January 30th. Okay, next meeting dates and items. So it seems to me we have 2 meeting dates. The next one is
20th.
the 20th, and we're going to focus on ARPA, correct? Yes? No?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Sorry. Baden.
And then we're going to try for 1 meeting in December, and that would be December 4th. Okay. Anything else that you want to put on?
Nope.
Okay, I'll try and send out a draft agenda well ahead of the 15th. Maybe, but I'll remind you that we said ARPA was going to be our priority. Okay, we're done.
Motion
And a
to
motion to adjourn?
I'm on it.
Okay, second, all in favor?
Bye.
Hi.
So long.
This meeting was recorded by Falls Area Community Television, located at 1 Hospital Court, Bellows Falls, Vermont. If you would like a copy of the meeting, our phone number is 802-463-1613, or email us at fact810@gmail.com. Falls Area Community TV, keeping government honest.